So why is the word garbage being used over and over again? Let's run through it. First of all, Trump was in Tempe.
We're like a garbage can for the world.
Then we had the MSG rally where a comedian...
There's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
And then Joe Biden came out of hiding yesterday.
In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
All right. Is Biden's comment the most damning because he's the president of the United States and he called Trump supporters garbage? Who would like to start?
I'll start. I think 100% it is. It's akin to when Hillary Clinton called the Republicans or conservatives deplorables, and they ran with it. As you can see, Donald Trump was in a garbage truck earlier.
Yes,
and he wore a protective vest during his rally. So he's going to use it up as much as he can. It's a moot point to me. I could care less what Joe Biden is saying because I think he's incompetent. But they're going to use it. Conservatives are going to use it.
Yeah, look, it was a gaffe. It's a typical Joe Biden gaffe. He's been making gaffes his entire career. This is going back decades. He has a stutter. He says things he doesn't mean. He says silly things, and it's bad. And this was bad. And I agree with you.
But it's not because of the stutter, is it?
You could hear it because remember when he said it, you could hear that you could tell he realized, I misspoke.
Yeah. We're going to let him off on a stutter?
No. Well, I said earlier, and I stand by that. It was a gaffe. He was wrong. He said what he said. He said what he said. But when he started to try to fix it, that made it worse.
Yeah. He's an idiot. And he said, just like the other day that he yelled at something incredulous against Donald Trump, I think he said he should be locked up.
He did.
Lock him up. I mean, that rhetoric is not acceptable when the man has been
a felon.
I got a second.
I mean, he is a felon.
I got a second. Let's bring this back 1 second, Brandon. That rhetoric's not acceptable. But Trump, Trump calling Kamala Harris a communist and a Marxist, and a fascist, and saying she's stupid, and saying, I don't have a list of every name he's called. That's okay. But Joe Biden saying two things, that's unacceptable.
Well, they got to make their mind up, okay? They call Trump Hitler every 5 minutes, and they say the people that support him is
Hitler-esque. The people who call Trump Hitler were the ones that worked for him. The ones like J.D. Vance said he's America's Hitler, and John Kelly, his chief of staff, said he loves Hitler.
You have to be the most disingenuous person to ever live to say that anybody in American politics is Hitler.
I don't like when anybody compares anybody to Hitler, and it bothers me, and I agree with you. But let's not say that the Democrats are calling him Hitler. The Republicans are calling him Hitler.
No, but the Democrats are calling him Hitler.
His vice presidential nominee called him Hitler. But his chief of staff
what
called
did his
him Hitler.
vice president nominee say about that term? He said he was wrong. He realized he was wrong, and he changed his mind. And now he's running and actually causing Trump to win in a greater way by being who he is. J.D. Vance, we're speaking of, by being who he is on the campaign trail. So he definitely is the biggest change in someone calling him Hitler.
He's the most disingenuous person we've ever had run for vice president.
I doubt it.
He called Trump America's Hitler.
Why did he change?
Because he wants power. That's why. He wanted to be a senator. He wants to be the vice president, and he wants power.
Well, think about this, Brandon. Like, when people get on a national ticket, they always move one way or the other. Like, when Reagan got Bush on the ticket, one of them was I believe, wasn't Bush pro-choice at the end? And Reagan said this will be a pro-life ticket or whatever.
I'm not sure.
But the thing of it is that people always move to where the head of the party is going or the president is going. My thing is that there was a lot of name calling on the right, and then them telling people, get over it. It's just that's not important. But when Biden does it once, people get upset. But I think on both sides, maybe we should watch how we talk.
But what's really happening?
Gayle Bass, Barry Markson. We've got Brandon Tatum inside the war room.
But what we have here is not that Republicans are offended, because most Republicans don't care. We have tough skin. It's that we're going to play by their rules now. If you're going to cry and act like Trump's rhetoric and all of this stuff is so bad, then you have to call your own side out. Yeah. What Joe Biden said was ridiculous, and he shouldn't have said it. But Trump doesn't. You think Trump cares? He doesn't care.
Watch me do that right now. What Joe Biden said was ridiculous, and he shouldn't have said it. Now,
good.
Shapiro said
when
it
Trump,
too.
Hang on. When Trump says does things and calls Kamala Harris an idiot and names, is that wrong? Should he not do that?
No, I think he should call her
okay,
idiot.
so it's okay for Trump to call everybody names and create all this
Joe Biden can
chaos.
say whatever he want to say. I don't have a problem with Joe
You
Biden
just said
saying
that
that.
Democrats should apologize and say it's inappropriate.
I said on their logic,
Yeah.
they are the ones that are shouting to the mountaintop that everybody's rhetoric is bad, and how could you say this? And this person is racist, and this person is a fascist. If you actually believe that, we'll hold you to account. Republicans don't care about the name calling because it's not going to matter on
First of all,
November
Republicans are the biggest snowflakes I've ever met in my life. Carrie Lake herself has come on this air and said she blocks hundreds of thousands of people in Arizona because she's afraid to look at what they say on Twitter. She's literally said that. She's so much of a snowflake she can't look at things. But let me ask you this. Gaydos originally brought up the word garbage being used by Trump, where in Arizona, he called the United States of America the garbage can of the world. This is not Reagan-esque. This is not the shining city on the hill. There's nothing inspiring here. We've never had a presidential candidate ever in the history of the country insult and impugn this country like Trump does.
That's
Why
not
does he
insulting.
do that? It's not
the country,
insulting?
because you're taking what he said out of context. He's saying that we're the garbage can to other countries. They're dropping off people that they do not want in their country. Criminals, vile individuals are coming over here illegally into our country. He's saying we are the garbage can of the world because they're dumping their people here.
Wait a minute,
he
Brandon.
didn't say that America is garbage.
But Brandon,
He literally said America's
Brandon,
garbage.
let's talk about those people who are coming here.
Illegal.
You know how their regimes are. If you were in their shoes, would you do the same thing? I know I would, because you know what? Their countries are failing, and the United States is that shining city on the hill, and America is the best country in the world, so why wouldn't they try to come here?
I agree with you, but there's different people that come here. The people who come here for a better opportunity because they're being sold a lie in many cases, thinking they could just walk in here. I have compassion for them. I wish that we can help them. There are people that are coming in here, they're also terrorists. There's people that are coming in here are also MS-13 gang members and Venezuelan gang members who took over apartments in rural Colorado. So they're all not the same. I think we need to fix our immigration system, but what we cannot do is allow people to come into our country illegally and not vet them.
Now,
we have a legal process.
Okay.
We allow over 1 million people to come into our country a year.
Let me just do one thing. No Venezuelan gangs have taken over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. According to the mayor of Aurora, Colorado.
That's not true.
According to the police chief of Aurora,
That's not
Colorado.
true.
I know because you read it on Twitter, you think it's true. The people who were
Everybody
there,
listen to fact check.
you were a police officer. If law
I wouldn't
enforcement,
say this if it wasn't
law
true.
enforcement in that city says it's
You
not
are
true,
supposed to be
who
a
am I
legal.
supposed to believe?
You're supposed to be a legal analyst for this radio show. You should look it up before you say that.
I
is
look up
proof.
everything.
They said
Who
on
says-
television
who
it was
says it?
fact checked,
Who?
and they said just a
Who?
few apartment complexes.
Who?
They were just on
What's
television.
the name of the apartment complex that has been now is
But wait a
controlled by Venezuelan mobs?
So you're coming
We
on
don't
rec-
know the
you
name
are
of
on
it.
re- no,
It
you're on
doesn't-
record saying
Wait a minute,
that
wait a
there's
minute.
not
I am
one.
quoting the police chief of that town saying it's not true.
Okay.
It's not what you're saying is not true.
We're gonna stop it there because we got a lot to get to. We're inside the war room.
By the way, just like the dogs and cats, they're eating the dogs and cats. Not true. Been fully debunked
I will
now.
show you a video.
Yeah, you're going to show me a video of somebody eating a dog or a
I
cat?
will show you a video
We
of
don't
the
show that
911.
on. No, we will not be showing that on KTAR.com. Larry,
Last time we were here, we were talking about that, and now even
And you
Trump,
still didn't look it
even
up, and I
Trump,
proved it to
even
you.
Trump acknowledged on
That
an
is not
interview
true.
that he can't say it's true. He said, "I just saw somebody said it."
Okay.
That's what
Okay.
Trump
All
said.
right. Barry Marr.
thanks for having me on the show, Gaydos.
You're welcome.
It's great to. I
welcome.
need some. This is entertaining radio. I have a front row seat to history right here, and I want to know where is. There's no candy or popcorn in this
No.
office for me to go.
I know.
I don't want to talk. I want to listen.
No, this is good stuff. All right. What is going on in Pennsylvania? Trump has a lawsuit against Bucks County, Pennsylvania. He's alleging they're turning away voters. He said this, I believe it was on Twitter. It's kind of, I think this is the verbatim. He said that there are thousands of fake ballots and fraudulent mail ballot applications in 2 Pennsylvania counties. Okay, is this BS, or is he starting to say, you know what, I might lose Pennsylvania, and maybe I start talking about some stuff that may or may not be true to lay the foundation?
Well, no, this is absolutely true. I think he's ahead in Pennsylvania if you look at the polling, but also the government officials and people who are there already have made a complaint. They did a press conference and they said that there was like 2,500 fake ballots that have been put out there or whatever the case may be. And so I think that he's appropriately doing what the American people expect him to do. Go through the legal system. If the legal system doesn't work and they prove that it's nothing there, then move on. That's
But
my
do
whole
we always
statement.
have to sue? Is there always a lawsuit? Can't they look and say, yes, this happened, we fixed it, no harm was done, let's move on?
Yeah, I mean that absolutely can happen too. But look, I have no problem with either side filing a lawsuit if they think something illegal is going on or something that should be corrected legally. That's correct. There's also reports in Pennsylvania of a guy named Scott Pressler, who's a big MAGA guy and Trump guy, that he created a whole bunch of ballots in the Amish community that aren't real, and that's being discovered now and investigated by police. So if things are going on that are illegal, it should be investigated. It should be corrected, and if necessary, a lawsuit should be filed.
We agree.
What we should be concerned about is Trump setting this up like he did in 2020, where before the election happens, if he loses, it was stolen from him. That's what he said in 2020. Before the election, he's saying that again now. That's the problem. You don't hear Kamala Harris saying that.
Well, does this worry you more, or do the exploding mailboxes worry you more?
Wait, where are the exploding mailboxes?
Here in Arizona.
Well, one in Oregon and
One in
the
Tempe.
other one in
Well, in
Washington
Arizona,
State.
it wasn't an exploding mailbox. It was a guy who decided just to light a mailbox
Right.
on fire.
Yeah.
Didn't know the ballots. I don't think it was political.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
there's
I think
one
it's-
of them that had a Gaza's, like Save Gaza or something like that on them.
look, there
So,
should be nobody should light ballots on fire or ballot boxes on
Right.
fire. There shouldn't be any violence. I think we all agree
But
about
people
that.
are doing it, and this is why we need to pay attention to it. And I think a lot of this is politically motivated. I mean, there's no reason for you to target a ballot box unless you wanted to interfere in the outcome of the election.
And
Now,
that's a federal. You're a police officer. That's a federal crime, right?
Well,
To
yeah, it's
tamper
just-
with mail. I've seen that in
it's
movies.
both ways. It's a federal crime, and then it's also a state violation, depending on if you're using a certain weapon. You're shooting a gun into it. It's discharging a firearm in city limits, and so it's a lot of charges that can come against a person who's doing that. I wish that they wouldn't. Let's have a fair election.
Yeah.
Let's show out the vote, and may the best person win.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Everybody who sees this, and you had some Trump supporters that were in Pennsylvania, and they were putting this on social media, and they're saying it's voter suppression from the left. How do we know it's voter suppression from the left? I mean, if there, let's say that some people were turned away.
Who said it was voter suppression from the left?
I'm telling you about the reports
Oh.
of people who had their cell phone and they're saying, we weren't allowed to vote. We weren't allowed to vote. Wait, why is it voter suppression from the left if Kamala Harris voters and Donald Trump voters possibly couldn't vote?
That's what we heard in Arizona last time, right? In 2022, we heard that it was voter suppression because they had to screw up with the printers and some of the ballot boxes. Right. But everybody who voted, their vote was counted, every single one of them. And that's not voter suppression, and that's what the courts determined as well. The issue that we're going to be facing, you're already seeing it here in Arizona, that the National Republican Party has already said in Arizona, for example, they're worried that there are going to be lines on Election Day.
Okay.
I'm going to here to tell you right now, there are going to be long lines on Election Day.
So what?
Because our ballot is 2 full pages front and back. It's ridiculous.
That's a total of 4. I could do the math.
But it's going to, if you haven't voted yet and you haven't mailed in your ballot because you want to go on Election Day, you should. Absolutely, that's your right. But be ready, because it's going to take people a lot longer to vote this year than it did in the past.
To one of the. I suggest people go to one of the early voting centers and turn their ballots in.
I think
that's so much better, because when you turn it in on Election Day, let's remind people, because I used to be one of those people until this year.
Yep.
I would turn it in on Election Day, and that is what has to go to another place, then get counted.
It's not going to get counted until way after.
It gums up the system.
It absolutely does.
So turn it in now.
If you vote early now, or if your mail-in ballot is received before Saturday, the first tranche of reporting, and we'll be here. KTAR is going to have election coverage. I'll be here 7 o'clock on Tuesday, and at 8 o'clock on Tuesday, they're going to release the results of all the mail-in ballots that were received by Saturday. So if you want your vote to be counted early, get your mail-in ballot in early, or go vote early.
And I agree 1,000%. The only problem is that let's be real about this as far as the way our state should handle it. We cannot wait a week or two to find out the results.
But we always
They
do.
need to get their ish together.
Well,
because even in Florida, which is a state that's way bigger than ours, how do they finish the vote
I can tell you
and
why.
have most of the vote done on election night?
I can tell you why.
We cannot wait 2 weeks. It's going to cause a big problem in this election.
So here's how it is. Can we agree, by the way, that this state has been run by Republican legislators and governors
who are terrible.
Okay. Well, okay.
I think they're terrible.
Every
but it has
election,
been run by Republicans.
You sound like Charles Barkley. This is terrible.
Oh, they're terrible. They are terrible. I've seen some of the things, the rhetoric that they're saying. They're absolutely terrible.
Every election law in Arizona was written by a Republican legislature and signed by a Republican governor. And the reason it takes so long, and by the way, I agree with you. It would be awesome to have all of our votes counted quickly. The reason they're not is, and what we do differently than Florida is, we let you drop off your mail-in ballot as late as Election Day. You can drop it off at 6:59 p.m. and drop off that mail-in ballot. What is Maricopa County or any of these counties supposed to do with that? They can't count it there. They have to do signature verification. They have to do all the things that they do with any mail-in ballot. They can't even start it until the next day. That's why it takes long. So what Florida does and what other states do is you have to get, if you want your mail-in ballot to be counted, it has to be received by the Friday or Saturday before Election Day. Now you can change the law, but that's the reason it takes us longer is our law is what it is.
All right. We got
But one other thing. The reason the Republicans didn't change that law is because that disenfranchises some voters. Because a lot of people, and I'm like this sometimes, Gayle, you're like this. I procrastinate.
Right.
And then I don't want to stand in the line, so I bring my ballot, I drop it off. It'll get counted eventually, and those folks would lose their vote wouldn't count.
Right, but we need to put it on the ballot again, make that a ballot measure, and let the people vote on it because I think people are sick of waiting 2 weeks.
I think you're right.
I think we should do all mail-in and let it be over 2 weeks.
Let's get to what people are calling Trump's little secret. Here's the clip, and we're going to go into what it means. Take a listen.
I think with our little secret, we're going to do really well with the House, right? Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over.
All right, he's talking about the Speaker of the House. So what is this little secret? Well, there was a New York Democrat named Dan Goldman. This is what he said.
Make no mistake, the House, we get sworn in on January 3rd. On January 6th, the certification of the Electoral College will happen again. Whoever is in control of the House, of Congress, will be able to have a lot of say on what happens on January 6th.
All right, so is Goldman saying that Trump is going to try and, even if he loses, this is his backup plan with the Speaker of the House, don't certify the election?
I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I think people exaggerate when it comes to this stuff. I mean, Donald Trump left the White House with his head down. Joe Biden is the president, and he's running with his life on the line. Almost got killed twice, not because he somehow want to be a dictator, it's because he really care about the American people. And I think that it's getting through to the people. That's why he's polling very well. I don't know what secret he's talking about, but if somehow Donald Trump, which he was in office before and he didn't do it, if somehow he's gonna orchestrate some coup to recreate a situation where he can be a president when he didn't get elected, the people are not going to go for that. There's an impeachment process. There's a removal from office process. This country will not accept that. I will not accept that. So I don't think he's doing that. He don't have to. He's going to win.
Do you really think that the GOP, if Harris wins and it's a clear win, but Trump wants to do something, or if it's super, super close, you think that there would be an attempt to overturn the results of the election and do their contingent plan?
You got to think, Donald Trump went down the pathways of trying to get this viewed legally, and he failed. The end. I mean, if he tries to do it again illegally and it fails, then everybody has to accept what the results are.
But you know he didn't accept the results last time, and he did much more.
He's clearly out of office.
He did much more than
that is true, Brandon.
Than just look at it legally.
If he,
you know that, right?
It doesn't matter that he was upset about it. People say he cried about it. No. He's still not in office.
He had a coup. He attempted a coup to stay in power.
How did he attempt a coup?
I can tell you right now. You ready? There's several things, but the first thing he did, and
his coup didn't work. So how's it going to work this next time?
So let me ask you: if you have somebody working for you, if you have an accountant working for you who's handling your money, and you find out that accountant is stealing your money, and he needed one guy in your office to press a button, and he's going to take $500,000 from you. And the guy in your office says, "I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do that to Brandon. I'm not going to do it." But would you keep that guy as your accountant? The guy who tried to steal, he didn't steal any money. He didn't get any money, Brandon. But would you keep him as your accountant?
No, if your integrity is compromised, I would not keep you as my accountant.
So what Trump did, he had several schemes in place, but the biggest one is he had several states, including Arizona, where they sent an alternate slate of electors, the fake electors. And by the way, that fake elector moniker, the people in Arizona came up with that name. That's not my name. That's what they called themselves. And they put fake electors and they sent them to Congress, and Andy Biggs and these people, everybody's running over to Congress to show them the fake electors because they were trying to create a situation where Congress would have an excuse, the Republicans in Congress would have an excuse not to certify the election. And the plan was, if they didn't certify the vote for Joe Biden on January 6th, as they're required to do in the Constitution and by law, if they didn't do that, we'd be in chaos. They'd say, we just want more time to let the states look into these ridiculous questions that the courts have already established had no basis.
They didn't establish.
The courts did establish, and I'll talk about that. I will tell you why in a second.
The courts did not
Brandon, you're wrong.
See that it had
you're
standing.
Wrong. No, that's not true.
They were not litigated.
You're saying something that's not true.
They were not litigated.
They litigated them here in Arizona.
No, what about nationally? It was not litigated. Supreme Court did not litigate.
Yes, they did. They nationally litigated many of the cases. Not every case. Brandon,
They would not take
Brandon,
the case.
In Arizona alone,
before the
in
courts.
Arizona alone, there were 3 separate trials with witnesses and evidence presented to the court because Trump and his people were bringing suits, and they're allowed to do that. And they brought suits and said there was election fraud, and the court found no election fraud.
No, that's not true.
That's absolutely
true. They did an audit here in Arizona.
No,
they
the
found
audit has
40,000 illegal votes, but Biden still won.
That was not
That's
true.
not true.
It was true. Biden still won.
No. Biden won because he got more votes. He didn't win because he cheated. He didn't win because
but he did get more votes.
Let me go back to the original question. Do you guys think that Donald Trump, if he loses, will accept it?
Yes.
Or will he have plan B where he uses the new House of Representatives to block the certification of the vote? He's calling that his little secret.
I don't think that's the case. He did never say that. People are putting words in his mouth.
I think the little secret is that Trump and what's his name again?
Speaker Johnson.
Yeah, Mike Johnson. I think they're dating. I don't
think they're dating.
You don't think so?
See, what he said makes more sense than thinking that Donald Trump is somehow.
But Brandon, it doesn't make more sense
Donald
because
Trump is not going to do it.
He's already done it. He already did it.
So if
we watched it happen.
If he did it,
he didn't go to the swearing in, and he didn't concede the last time.
If he did it and he was unsuccessful, what make you think he's going to be successful this time?
I don't think he will, but I don't think that's going to stop him.
What is he going to do it for? He has no reason to do it.
Because he's a narcissist who can't believe he loses. Trump can't ever accept a loss. So there has to be another reason.
I doubt it. It's not just Trump that didn't believe that it was a fair election in 2020. It's not just Trump.
It's not just Trump because people believe Trump's lies, and now there's hundreds and hundreds of people literally in prison for what they did on January 6th.
January 6th was people going to prison over January 6th for just walking in the Capitol building.
That's not why most of them are in prison.
I'm saying some of them are.
Yeah. How about the ones that assaulted police officers?
They should go to jail.
How about the 149 police officers who were gravely wounded?
If you assault a cop, you go to jail.
Okay, but Trump's saying I'm going to pardon these people.
He didn't say which ones. He didn't say he's going to pardon every one of them.
He said, "Oh man,
well, he did not."
If any of them assaulted a police officer, do you think they should be pardoned?
No. Well, it depends on if you assault a police officer, you should be charged with the crime of assaulting a police officer. Entering the Capitol building is circumstantial. If you walk into the Capitol building,
it's not circumstantial if they have evidence you're in the Capitol.
No, but if you walk into the Capitol building because cops let you in, because there was many people that walked in just freely and cops let them in. So those people are different than somebody assaulting a police officer and forcing entry into the Capitol building. You go to jail if you do that, and I'm okay with that. I would be disappointed if Trump allowed anybody on January 6th who assaulted a police officer and illegally entered into the Capitol building, if he pardoned them, I would be upset with that.
I'm happy to hear you say that. If he does pardon them, if he just pardons all of them, will you still support Trump?
Well, he's already going to be the president.
So he'll be president. Will you still support him if he does that? If he lets people who injure police officers out?
I will support Trump. I don't support that action that he did if he does that.
Why is Trump doing better with blacks and Hispanics? What is the deal?
You want me to answer that? No.
Anyone. I mean, honestly, yeah. I just want to know.
I don't see that.
I think he comes across more genuine. Kamala Harris, her efforts to try to portray herself as being black is a failed effort. They bring out the identity politics, and people just aren't buying it like they used to. And so I think that Donald Trump comes across authentic. He did well with the economy. Kamala Harris isn't explaining anything that she'll do with the economy. And to be honest, she was an affirmative action hire. Joe Biden should have never picked her because she was not qualified. She polled worse than anybody in the Republican ticket, got no delegates when she ran for president. Even as the vice president, she had the worst rating out of any vice president in history. And she's a bad candidate.
Why was Mike Pence a good candidate?
I think he sucked.
Well, at least you're fair.
Donald Trump did not pick a guy. If he picked J.D. Vance, I thought J.D. Vance wasn't going to be that good. J.D. Vance is great.
Let's talk about J.D. Vance. How is J.D. Vance more qualified than Kamala Harris?
That guy's the most articulate. He can articulate policies.
Because he's articulate?
Well, he has no experience in anything. He served the military.
He wrote a book.
He served in this country as a Marine, which is honorable. He has a family. He's a good man. He articulates policy very well. He argues. He doesn't mudsling. The guy is incredible.
He does mudsling. That childless cat lady was mudsling.
You guys are talking about something he said.
He called Trump
when he wasn't even a vice president.
He called Trump America's Hitler and said he doesn't trust him to do anything.
Well, you keep saying that, but he just said
he mudslings all the time.
Well, you may should consider that he said that he was wrong about that. But regardless, he's much better.
Okay, he didn't.
He's
he
much
doubled
smarter.
down on it. And another thing, Brandon,
he's much smarter than she is.
But she. If she wasn't smart, how did she get through law school? How did she
tell you how
become
she
an
got
AG?
through law school. I can tell you how she
you
got
know
AG.
what?
No,
That
no,
is
no.
I can
that-
tell you how she
and
asked
that
Willie
is why
Brown.
women. That is
No,
why
don't blame women. Don't blame
are
every
not
woman.
That's why women are
my
trending
gosh.
toward.
They can trend wherever they want to.
Why is it? But nobody's saying
She had an affair with Willie Brown.
Trump cheated on his wife.
you
Was
think
she had
proud
an affair
of
with
it.
Willie Brown?
Cheated on his wife. Was proud of it. Wrote it in books. Had a fake
Okay.
name talking about it to
Let's
the
go down
gossip
this
columns.
Let's go down
And you're saying that she's not qualified
No,
because
let's
she
go-
cheated.
let's go there. No,
He
she
admitted it.
Well, let's say he
she
cheated.
went through law
Okay.
school. He didn't. She was AG. She was vice president. She was senator. And they
And
used
she
her
got
on
no
the
delegate votes when she ran for president. And she's with
It
terrible vice
doesn't matter.
president.
Neither
doesn't-
did Mike Pence. Neither
Yes,
did J.D.
none
Vance.
of
Neither
them
did
did.
anybody.
Well, none of them just
Why-
been thrusted into the presidency
Why
either,
didn't
without anybody voting for
J.D.
him.
Vance has no experience. He has
What you mean
less.
he has no experience?
He has no. What has he done?
He's a senator.
He's been a senator
So-
for a year.
so was Kamala.
He has
The-
less experience than Obama
the
did, and
guy-
everybody was saying
She was a
Obama had no
senator
The
longer
experience.
guy
than he
is.
was.
You,
Obama-
you guys can say that all you want. The guy is incredible.
He's not incredible. You like him because he can put three sentences
No,
together.
but he's smart. He has a
hasn't-
plan for America.
He has,
She doesn't have a
She
plan.
has a plan. She's
No,
articulated the
no,
plan.
she hasn't.
Yes, she does.
What's the
She
plan
did-
that she's
Did you watch the
articulated?
speech
Oh, my
last
goodness.
night?
No, what
Did you
plan
watch
has she
the- did you
Or are you too
watch
articulated?
busy watching the garbage comment?
Somebody explain to me what plan has she articulated clearly to the American
she's
Well, let's
people?
just put it this way. Economists say they compared
Yeah.
both
No,
of
what
their
did she
plans.
say?
No, she's
the
laid out an
economists
entire-
compare both of their plans.
one at a time.
And they say her plan will do less damage to the deficit than Trump's plan. They said he will add to the deficit.
She
You're
doesn't
saying-
have a plan.
She does have a plan.
No, she doesn't.
Brandon, just because you're saying she doesn't and Trump's saying she doesn't mean she doesn't.
What is she-
Hang on.
okay.
You look at her website. She has an entire economic plan.
Well, no,
she has plans.
she don't even know what it is. She
Brand-
say,
she
I got to
does-
go research my plan and
Just
look at
because
it.
you
Brandon,
say that doesn't
Brandon,
make
you're-
it true,
that's what she
Brandon.
said.
You're saying
No, that's not what
that's
you
not
said.
what
She
she
said at the town hall.
Brandon, you're saying things
that
that aren't
she need
true.
to she needs to research.
She has a
One
plan.
at a time, one at
and
a
the
time.
economists have looked at it, including Republican economists, and looked at it and said, this plan is going to grow the economy. Trump's plan will not. This plan will grow the Kamala Harris's plan will grow the GDP. Trump's plan is going to
That's
reduce
cute.
It's not cute.
And
It's
then
going to reduce the GDP by 6 to 8%.
That's cute.
Trump's plan is going to increase the deficit and the debt
Listen,
more than hers.
That's cute because he was the president already and had a booming economy.
But wait a minute.
She's been in
and
office.
he increased the
She's
debt
been in
more
office.
than any president in the
because
history
he had to
of the
give out
country.
money during
No,
And you know what? And you know what?
before
Elon,
that.
you like
Yes.
Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk
I like
has
him. He's
even
great.
said, you know what he said? He goes, you know what? If Trump gets elected, the economy is going to take a hit. It's going to hurt, but
But do
that's
you
going to
think-
put us in a better place.
But do you think
Who wants
the
us to
richest
hurt?
man in the world is going to vote for a person that's going to destroy the economy?
Yeah, I do.
What
Because
sense
he
does
because
that
he
make?
thinks
Why do you
because he
think he's
thinks it's
building
good
a
for him.
compound?
Wait, I want to
He's
know
brilliant.
why.
Thinks it's
I want
good for- he
to
thinks
know
it-
why Barry thinks that.
Because it's good for him. Elon Musk cares about what's good for him. Elon Musk with
That's insane.
Tesla, Elon Musk had the board give himself a $59 billion bonus, and it was turned over. It was turned around. He couldn't do it, and he went back to the board and made them do it again. He cares about nothing but himself.
Elon Musk has an open patent for any of his technology in Tesla that anybody can use all over the world.
Yeah.
No other company is doing that. Elon Musk cares about the people. Elon Musk.
Oh my God! Then why
Look at his
did he
space
force?
travel.
Why did he
What
force them
about-
to give him a $59 billion
You're talking money
bonus?
now. That's a business
but
deal.
But don't act like he's
But
for
you
the
talk about
people.
Starlink.
He wants to be rich.
What about Starlink?
Yeah, he makes money on Starlink.
Well, listen,
what
you
are we
live in
talking
America.
about right now?
That's
This
like
guy's
saying-
not God.
that's
He's
like
not
saying-
Jesus.
that's like
he's
saying-
a prophet
That's
guy,
like
and that's
saying-
okay.
That's like saying for the work you do, you don't make any money. Of
No,
course,
I
we
have
live
no
in
problem with him
capitalism.
making money, but don't make it so the guy who makes a ton of money likes Trump, and that you want me to give you a list of
The
rich people
company's
who are going to
worth
vote for
trillions
Kamala?
of dollars. Can the man get a couple billion? Come on, he owns 20% of Tesla, which is worth
it's
$200
fine.
billion.
Look,
Can a man
Brandon,
get a couple
Brandon,
billion? I
it's
wish
okay.
I could.
Brandon,
Y'all
it's
loved
okay.
him because he's the
It's okay.
Green New Deal czar. Y'all loved him before he supported Trump.
Brandon, it's okay for you to say I like Trump more and I'm going to vote for him. It's not okay to say Kamala doesn't have an economic plan.
She
does.
doesn't. That's why
It's not okay to say things that aren't true. Trump can't articulate his own
Come
plan.
November,
He
let's
can't
see.
answer a question.
All right,
let's
we'll
see
find
come
out. We'll
November.
find. It is
All right.
November.
It's a hard stop, fellas. A hard stop.
We got 6 days
Oh my!
until the election. Brandon,
my.
thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
Hey, Barry, good to see you, man.
Thanks, Gaydos. Great to be here.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.